Welcome to WHYY's community discussion on the Delta variant and the return to school. My name is Dr. Amy Dean, WHYY's community curator for Willingboro, New Jersey. This discussion will be held by Willingboro community ninth graders who will share their thoughts, voice, and recommendations regarding the return to school. It is my pleasure to introduce CEO of BoroTV, Terry McCullum. Terry?
Thank you, Dr. Dean. Hello, everyone. As Dr. Dean stated, my name is Terry McCullum, CEO of BoroTV, a local media outlet here in Willingboro, New Jersey, where our goal is to provide news and information that empowers our community. BoroTV gives the community the opportunity to tell its own story in its own way. Joining us today for the conversation about the COVID-19 variant and returning to school, we have Calvary Sepinu, Chloe Worthy, India Howard, and Jacob McCullum.
All right, so we're going to have this discussion regarding the return to school and the Delta variant.
With all the decisions going on due to the pandemic, I do feel that they are trying to include the youth voice and think of it from our perspective. And I do respect them for trying, but I think that there is more that could be done to help.
Yes and no, because I feel like there is some attention going to how it affects us, but most of it is going towards getting things back to how it was before.
I wouldn't say my voice hasn't been heard. It's most likely it's more that they don't look for our voice, or they don't ask us what we think. And they just make decisions depending on what they think is best. But my thing is, if their decisions don't affect me in a negative or bad way, I could really care less what decisions they make. As long as my life keeps going the way it was going, they can make whatever decisions they want.
I think just talking to the youth, I feel like I feel like they try, like I said, they try to look at it through the youth's perspective without ever talking to the youth and asking them, hey, what's up? What do you think you could do? What do you think we could do to help with everything that's going on?
I don't feel like our voices are being heard because a lot of adults act like they care, but as soon as we state our opinion or our beliefs or what we feel to be true, they always seem to shut it down and always use the fact that we're younger than them, age has anything to do with voice or reasoning or opinion.
I don't know much about the Delta variant. I know that it is more severe than what we're dealing with now with COVID-19, and the symptoms can be worse.
I don't know too much about the Delta variant besides the fact that it definitely is more deadlier than COVID, and it can be transmitted easier. I
don't know a lot, but I remember listening to the news one day, and I heard them saying that 99% of the people that are hospitalized because of the Delta variant are non-vaccinated.
I don't have much information about the Delta variant or know how much impact is going to hold on their society or how much more serious it is in the first variant. So all I can do is just assume it's a little bit worse but similar to the first variant.
With that being said, going back to school knowing the Delta variant is still out there, I think it would just be more important for us to continue to follow the safety guidelines that have been provided for us, to continue to wear a mask and to do the best that we can to best protect ourselves and everyone around us.
I do feel safe returning to school with the Delta variant. It's just a matter of taking the right precautions to keep yourself and others safe as you're returning back to school.
I don't really have any concerns going back to school because I'm fully vaccinated, so yeah.
If there's a Delta variant on the rise, why force us to go back to school and not give us the virtual option again? I feel like history is going to repeat from 2019, and we're just all going to get sent home for that 2-week spring break and never come back until the next year or like sophomore year in my case.
The only thing I'm really concerned about as far as going back to school is either me or someone else bringing the Delta variant into the school and spreading it amongst others.
The rules have been made clear. Whether people are going to follow them is something different, but I think the proper instructions were given for everything to be safe. But it's up to the people if it will be safe.
By doing things such as social distancing, keeping your hands clean, like not touching others, and just keeping to yourself, not trying to spread anything amongst others.
Virtual learning was not that effective for me. My grades didn't drop, but I definitely had a harder time because sometimes it felt as though I was trying to teach myself.
Virtual learning really wasn't that effective for me because my grades did drop, and it was a lot more stressful than it would be if you're in school.
For me personally, I don't like virtual learning because it's hard to like keep focused, like sitting in front of a computer while the teacher is talking, like waking up early in the morning, sitting in front of a computer. It's hard to like stay awake or focus.
How virtual learning affected me is that I actually wasn't as motivated or focused or like as productive as I were in physical school, simply because me staying in my room all day wasn't like giving me the motivation or encouraging me to try my hardest and take school as seriously. But I still think it should be an option for kids to go back to school or to be virtually educated, because for some specific reasons, students may prefer to be virtual if it's something internally, mentally, socially, or anything of the case.
I think that it should be an option for those who don't want to send their kids out to school during this time, or who it just may be better for. They may not be able to find transportation to school. There's a lot of different situations that could be going on at home in different people's lives that could prevent them or make it harder for them to try to go to school during a pandemic or just trying to live normal life. So I think it should be an option.
They should keep it as a choice for other people because there's some people that work better by themselves or like in the comfort of their own home, like people with social anxiety, stuff like that can't come to school in person. So I feel like they should keep it as a choice, but for me personally, I don't like it.
I do feel like virtual school should be an option for students as we're returning to school because some students are afraid of the virus and they don't want to be in school with other people, and some people just don't like socializing and would rather have school on a laptop than having to be in person.
I think benefits is, most importantly, of course, it's keeping us safe. I think it can be a bit burden though because it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to hear people. Sometimes people hide behind their mask in a physical and emotional sense. And some people just don't function well knowing that they're being covered in that way. Some people, it really affects them mentally, and I've seen it for myself through my friends.
I feel like wearing a mask in school can cause problems because the main problem is you can't hear people when they have their mask on, because a lot of people don't like projecting their voice when they're talking to people, and if you have a mask over that voice, then you really can't hear anybody talk, which can really be a problem in school.
I do see why it's hard to like be social with masks on, because me personally, I talk very low, and if people can hear me without my mask, I know that they won't be able to hear me with my mask on for sure.
When we went back in person the last couple weeks of school for last year, people like the fact that I had a mask on, it's like, because normally when I walk past people, I like smile, like give them a little fake smile and keep it pushing, but the fact that I had a mask on, it's like, if you don't look at me, I don't look at you, like let's just keep going with our day, like there's no need for us to talk.
I know one of my friends says she feels limited. She feels stuck in a box almost when she's wearing her mask, though she can't be truly who she is because of this piece of cloth on her face.
It's hard for people to understand you because I hate repeating myself. So like when I have a mask on and I'm talking to somebody and they keep saying huh, I just get mad and stop talking. And I know it's not their fault, but I just don't like to repeat myself. So that's one of the things I hate about wearing a mask.
If you wear makeup, there's a lot of benefits. You don't have to like put on as much makeup because half your face isn't gonna be seen. Or if you don't like your smile, then you have a mask to cover it up. Like if you have any insecurity about your mouth, what the case may be, then that may be a plus side.
Naturally, I don't smile. My natural face is a very resting, straight face. So I've been told I look mean or scary. So I like my mask because I can kind of just smile with my eyes instead of trying to put on an emotion or a front of someone I'm not. My current smile is me trying to appear as happy as I can for the cameras.
I feel like the mask mandate may affect the extracurricular activities in a negative and positive way, because if you play sports like basketball and like volleyball and things like that, like indoor sports, and you have to wear your mask, it could cause like trouble breathing and stuff like that, which can be really bad. But it is something good because you can keep yourself safe and you keep others safe from spreading the virus.
I feel like that's gonna be hard to do because there are some students that have asthma and can't breathe with the mask on while doing those sports. And some sports like football or cheerleading, they have to be physically in contact with each other in order to get that job done.
It wouldn't really affect us that badly because I play football and we're outside most of the time. So like when you're outside, you don't really need to like wear the mask as often. You don't really like, and it's spaced outside. So like it's circulated too. So it's not like you're all just breathing in like each other's air and stuff like that. So like the mask mandate and social distancing doesn't really like affect my extracurricular activity that much, but I see how it could negatively affect other people, like cheerleading. Like they're inside, they're always touching each other. So like, yeah.
From what I've seen with different sports going on, sports have started back up. I don't think most of the sports that I've seen, they don't wear their mask until they're off the field, which is a little bit of a skewed idea to me because you already been in contact with that person. But I don't think it's affecting much because people are not wearing their mask while they're playing sports. So it hasn't affected anything.
I'm definitely for participating in those kind of activities because I feel like it's something that most people just need to do in order to feel like themselves again. Because you have people that love playing sports, like doing all these kind of things, and then COVID shut it down, and they kind of lose it, like they kind of lost themselves. And I feel like them opening back up and people doing those sports again is a good idea.
I'm neutral when it comes to that because I understand why people choose not to do sports and I understand why people do. So for me personally, it depends what activity that I'm more fond of and why I really want to do that said activity and whether or not I will want to take that sacrifice to wear the mask.
I personally am for the extracurriculars. I understand people have to get out the house, and I feel like it's important to move and to interact and engage during these times because some people can feel very alone and very disconnected from society. I do know that it's risky though, wearing your mask and being in such close contacts when it comes to close contact sports such as football, soccer, and basketball.
Yes, I do feel like engaging in activities can help students feel, like more normal compared to how things were before.
I think that it's definitely interesting how that teachers will now be required to be vaccinated in order to return to their jobs. I know that some people don't necessarily agree with getting vaccinated. I know some people are still curious on getting vaccinated. Some people are even scared to get vaccinated. So I think it's definitely an interesting concept.
I feel like teachers being required to get vaccinated definitely is a little sad, knowing that some people don't trust the vaccine, and if they don't get it, then teachers can possibly lose their jobs. But I also feel like it is safe because if all teachers are vaccinated when they're in the school teaching their students, it can help keep the school a safe place, but it definitely is sad.
On one hand, I understand why they have to be vaccinated or why they're said to be vaccinated instead of the students, because adults are more mature, like they have more responsibility than children. Like, they should be the ones to take the sacrifice to get the vaccine if it's not completely safe or completely, tested, whatever the case may be, because the vaccine is very new. This is one of the first vaccines that were prepared in the quickest amount of time. So it makes sense why they're trying to give it to the teachers first before the students. But on the other hand, the fact that they have to be forced to take the vaccine or else they can't do their job and fend for their families or provide for their families, I feel like that's kind of taken away from their human rights. Because it's saying that if you don't get this vaccine, you won't be able to make money and you won't be able to take care of yourself.
Depending on if it doesn't negatively affect your dignity, if it doesn't take away your pride, anything like that, you should take it, because that way you're protecting yourself and the students you're teaching. But if it's religious, I get it, because that's going against your morals and stuff like that. But I feel like if it's not, how do I put this? If it's not hurting your pride, hurting your dignity, taking away your sense of individuality, something like that, you shouldn't complain and just take it. Protect yourself and protect the kids you're teaching.
My mom, for example, actually took the vaccine because she already knew or had the feeling that something like this was already going to happen. So she just got it anyway. But for my cousin, who's also a teacher, she chose to get the weekly testing instead of getting the vaccine. And I support each one of those arguments, even though I lean kind of over to my cousin's perception of just getting tested weekly or daily, matter of fact, because I understand where she's coming from with the vaccine and why she doesn't completely trust her, doesn't feel completely comfortable.
I know personally for me at my house, my dad has to agree on everything that me and my mom do. He's the head of our household, so he agrees on everything that we do. He's the one that sets the standard. So in someone's home where the wife, let's say, is a teacher and needs to get vaccinated for her job and her husband is saying, no, no one in this family is getting vaccinated, it can definitely bring some concern, because am I going to lose my job, or am I going to disobey my husband? So I know that that's a big issue, and that's in many cases, that's a scenario. And so I think it's definitely concerning, and I'm very curious to see how this will play out and what will happen.
No, I don't trust the vaccine simply because I personally do not trust the government. The government has never seemed to be on the people's side. I can't recall any time in my life where I actually seen the government do good for the people in a way. Besides the stimulus checks that were given out during the pandemic that I heard are coming to the close and stopping, I heard from my mom. But besides that, I don't trust the vaccine because we don't know what's in it, what it took to create it, or any specific details about what is inside it.
Well, technically, the governor does have that power. He is the governor, but I think that it's still they can still refuse. It's America, but we have the freedom of speech, and I think they could still refuse. And I think some people are willing to risk their jobs just to say no. They might even be willing to risk it more just because they are being told specifically that they need to get it. But when people are targeted, they tend to want to fight back or to do something more.
If everything were to shut down again, I would want the leaders to remember that it's important to listen more, to listen to what us people have to say, especially us students, as far as virtual learning, because I feel like they weren't listening to us as much as they should have. And if they were to listen to us more, I feel like performance levels and things like that would have been a lot better.
I would tell them to consider the fact that you still want to be able to see our friends, because not seeing our friends was a hard part for our social lives and our mental health, because as kids, we always just wanted to just hang out with our friends, and not be able to see my friends or family for many months, and just being in my room all alone was very boring, and we don't like being bored.
About education, if they go virtual again, like they need to lower the workload, because it was a lot of kids. Like the work was too much. I know a couple people that got held back because like they had too much work and they couldn't really cope with it well and do it. And regarding the extracurriculars, I feel like they shouldn't like fully shut everything down, because there's some kids like they don't like to be at home. Like going out is their only way of like escaping what's happening at home. So like them canceling extracurriculars is like they're trapping the kid at home and forcing them to go through what they don't want to go through.
I want my school board and my community leaders to remember to continue to speak to the community, to continue to communicate with the community. As if we have to go through this again, I think it's very important that we continue to just have that conversation and to talk about the things that may be uncomfortable so we can all be best informed as to what's going on.
On behalf of Sandra Clark, Vice President for News and Civic Dialogue, and Christopher Flood, the Drummer Norris, Managing Editor for Community and Engagement, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe at www.whyy.org. That's www.whyy.org for more information, conversation, and engagement. Thank you.